Loving someone from miles away, it's a challenge, right? So many of us have been there. So today, we're going to break down just one phone argument to really unpack the hidden emotions at play when distance gets in the way.
It feels like it shouldn't be true, doesn't it? I mean, we're always told that fighting is a bad sign. But what if? What if an argument could actually bring two people closer? Let's dive into that.
So, where does it all begin? Well, it all starts right here. And it's not with some huge explosion, but with a question that honestly seems totally harmless.
So Rahul kicks things off, and Priya gets back to him. But there's a little delay. And it's right there, in that tiny little gap, that small pocket of silence. That's where the trouble starts brewing. You see, for any couple doing the long-distance thing, time and timing are just everything. A little delay isn't just a delay. It's like this empty space opens up, and that's where insecurity and doubt can creep in and start to grow.
And, well, that tiny seed of doubt, it doesn't stay tiny for very long. In fact, it blows up pretty fast into a full-on confrontation.
And boom, the tone just completely shifts. What started as a simple, hey, is now just loaded with annoyance, with suspicion. He's not really asking a question anymore, is he? He's making a statement. He's saying, I was left waiting.
But here's the thing. That annoyance, that's not what's really going on. It's just a mask, It's a cover for something way more vulnerable, for the fear and insecurity that, let's be honest, physical distance just naturally creates. And this is where the tension really hits its peak. That insecurity that was bubbling under the surface, it's not a subtext anymore. It's right out in the open. A totally normal work call is suddenly twisted into a possible betrayal.
I mean, you can almost feel the emotional canyon that distance creates here, can't you? For Rahul, that weight feels like a real threat. But for Priya, who's just trying to explain it was an important work call, his suspicion must feel like it came out of nowhere. And it's just so unfair.
Okay, but right when the argument is at its absolute worst, something changes. There's a shift. We're about to move past the accusation and get to what's really going on here.
Man, you can just hear the hurt in Priya's voice, can't you? She's not just defending a phone call anymore. She's defending their entire relationship, the trust they've worked so hard to build.
And this is the moment. This is where everything pivots. Rahul finally takes off that mask of anger and just admits what's really happening. It was never about suspicion. It was about fear. Wow, just a moment of pure, raw vulnerability. And that one confession, it completely reframes the whole argument. All of a sudden, this fight isn't about a phone call at all, is it? It's this raw, unfiltered look at just how terrifying it can be to love someone who's so far away. So, now that the real emotion is finally out in the open, they can actually start to fix things. They can begin to bridge that emotional gap that had opened up between them. And Priya's response here is just so smart, so insightful. She doesn't get defensive. Instead, she points to the real problem. The enemy isn't Rahul. It's not his insecurity. It's the actual miles separating them. So by calling out the distance as their shared enemy, they completely pivot. They stop being opponents in a fight and start being partners. They're on the same team again, ready to take on this challenge together. And all of this leads us to the final and honestly maybe the most surprising takeaway from this whole thing. It's something we could call the paradox of absence. I mean, just look at this shift. This conversation started with suspicion and hurt feelings, and now it's ending with this renewed commitment, this shared hope for what's next for them. So what's really fascinating here is what this fight ends up meaning. It's not seen as a crack in the relationship, not at all. Instead, it's reframed as proof of just how much they miss each other. The conflict itself becomes a weird kind of expression of their love. So when you look at it that way, the argument wasn't a flaw. It was a symptom of their love, just amplified by all that distance. And by getting through it with vulnerability, they didn't just end a fight. They actually made their bond even stronger. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it?
What does love actually sound like? Well, maybe sometimes it doesn't sound like a perfect, happy phone call. Maybe sometimes it sounds like a messy, scared, but totally honest argument. An argument that proves just how much you're willing to fight for each other, no matter how many miles are in between.